Hey, everybody, it's Greg Harrelson here, and I'm here with you again with my partner and great friend and great real estate, producer, Abe Safa. And we're bringing you another episode of the Level Up podcast in hopes that we can make a small little difference in your business today. Hey, Abe, glad to be here again with you, man.
Hey, Greg, my pleasure.
So, Abe, you brought up something interesting, and that was instant success. And just the thought of like instant success. Abe and I kind of started thinking about this, and we came up with maybe a few tips on what you can do to create instant success. But I want to disclose, I want a little disclaimer here. I want to at least share whenever I hear instant in real estate, I think shiny object, somebody's going to sell me something, and it's probably not proven. Well, be assured, Abe and I are not going to talk about any shiny objects today. We're not going to talk about things that we have not proven. We're going to talk about the things that you really need to do if you're looking for some instant success. If you're newer to the agent, gosh, typically you want to create success fast, or you even need to, but you don't have to be new. You could already be in the business. Maybe you're just at a plateau. Your business is a little bit soft right now, and you need an instant jolt to your business. This calls for you, or this podcast is for you. So real quick, there's three things that I think determine your speed, your trajectory, and ultimately the success that you're going to have in your business. Three things: lead generation, the term consistency, and skills. Lead generation, consistency, and skills. Those are three things that are going to determine your speed, your trajectory, and ultimately how far you get in your business. Hey, let's start breaking it down. Why don't you handle lead generation? What are your thoughts in the area of lead generation associated with instant success?
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. So, I mean, both of us really been in sales our whole entire lives. All I've ever done is sales. And this is the one industry which kind of, when I got into it, like really kind of concerned me with the lack of emphasis that's given to what I think is the most important thing in what determines the success or failure of somebody, which is lead generation. Like, lead generation to me is the number one thing that agents should be trained on when they first get into business. It's the lifeblood of your business. So the first thing on this list for instant success, right, is you have to lead generate. Without leads, you have no business, period. There's nothing there. So you can't go on appointments. You can't negotiate contracts. You can't write offers. You can't close any deals if you don't have people to talk to, right? And again, this is the one area that I feel like the industry fails agents, is like, we'll teach them all these things and teach you how to figure out a square footage of a home and all of that thing, but no one tells you, hey, when you get in, you've got to generate leads. Mm-hmm. So your only job in the beginning is to generate leads. Your product isn't houses. Your product is conversations. Your job is to talk to people daily about real estate. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Talk to people every single day. And in that process, you will generate leads to follow up with. Now, in time, those leads, as you continue to talk to them, will lead to appointments. That will lead to offers. And then that will lead to closed deals. So more than anything, you have to build your business, your schedule, your time around lead generation, right? And how do you do that? Well, you focus on, I'll give you three examples, right? There's so many things you could do. You could door knock, you can mailers, you could do billboards, but three that have always worked for you and I and all the agents that we know is FSBOs, okay, for sale by owners. Expireds, whether it's new or old expireds, is a great pillar. You can get online leads from different services, Home Lights of the world, the UpNest, Realtor.com. You can even circle prospecting. So breaking it down, that is all new business that you can generate. Now, over time, as you're talking to more people, you start to build a database. So you add that to the mix. Now you've got people to follow up with. You've got your sphere of influence. You've got past clients. You've got referrals. And then finally, the third source is going to be your follow-up, your pipeline. That's where the money is, right? Because very few people you talk to are going to be an instant yes. It's going to take time. It's going to take multiple conversations. It's going to take you working with them to get to the point where they're ready, not when you're ready. So new business, database, and follow-up, if you break it down to 3 different lead sources. Okay, so to me, this first one should be non-negotiable. This is something that, again, you block out the time in your schedule, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, whatever it is that you want to do based on the business you want to do. And this is something that you do every single day, and you protect it like your livelihood depends on it, because it really does. Most agents fail in the business because it is one particular thing. They go out there and get these business cards, and they get the tag with the name on it. They get all these things, but do not do what's most important, which is lead generate. So build that into your schedule. Decide on how many people you want to talk to in a day. Set some goals. I would suggest at least 10 to 15 people. Decide on, have a goal of setting like 1 appointment a day at least. And how many people you want to add to your database on a daily basis. If you're talking to 15 people, you should be adding at least 3 to 4 people to your database every day. So you do this over time, the business will be there. Yes, I know I'm glad you brought up the title instant. There's no such thing as instant. But within this context, when I say instant, you're instantly on track to becoming successful. Right? The moment that you start doing this, you're instantly on track to becoming successful. Your pipeline is going to be the clearest indication of what's happening in your lead gen time. So build this into your schedule as quickly as you can and start doing this every single day.
You said something in the beginning, Abe, that I think so critically important is the industry has failed the agents. Mm-hmm. The industry has failed the agents, and leadership has failed the agents. I'm generally speaking, of course, not choosing to pick on any one company or one leader, but leaders in general have just failed the agents by not stressing enough as to what's really going to move the needle in the business. People have been so motivated about selling these shiny objects that they're just not, in a sense, having real conversations. And I think that's important. And, and I hear you say instant, there is no instant, but yeah, there's no instance it's not like a microwave, right? We put the cup of water in the microwave and in 30 seconds it's hot. Yeah, it's not that instant, but it is also not like abnormal for a new agent or an experienced agent to take a deep breath, kind of reset, get refocused on lead generation. It's not abnormal for them to find a listing or a new or set an appointment within the first 48 hours of them making a decision. So that's not 30 seconds, but that's pretty instant to me, right? So I would say, because we also want to make sure we're not pitching shiny objects and shiny coaching, because it just doesn't exist. Let me take the next one, Abe. Talk about consistency. There's this thing out there that we talk about and we've talked about it so many times, repetitious boredom. Success is boring way before it becomes rewarding. And we know that consistency will beat intensity every time. I've even said that, hey, look, I'll take an average player that shows up every day and is consistent versus a phenomenal skilled player that I cannot rely on. You cannot build a team in a company around things that are inconsistent. Like, you may show up and nobody opens the door. Nobody turns the lights on, right? In your Dunkin' Donuts, nobody makes the donuts. We got to be consistent. Consistency is what's created a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts and things like that. And consistency is also what's creating top producers. So a lot of agents, they'll have intensity. They're full of energy. They're motivated, but they come in and out of that. And then when you look at their business over a long period of time, their results are just average versus somebody else is just kind of boring, inconsistent. They usually outpace the people that are inconsistent. And it's a compound effect. It's like, as you're more consistent, let's just think about reps. You're making more reps every day. You're repping, you're exercising that muscle, you're building that skill just because you're talking to a lot of people, and it compounds over time. You don't create instant success in one like quick movement, one quick actions. It's hundreds, if not thousands, of small, insignificant, what seems to be insignificant activities just done over time, like making 20 contacts today or 30 contacts a day, sending X amount of text to your buyers that have opted into your website, doing videos. Like none of these things one on any single day should be expected that it's going to create amazing results. But every one of those things done consistently over time are going to create predictable results. And that's what we're looking for, a predictable and duplicatable business. So consistency can look like this: showing up at the same time every day, lead generating for the same amount of hours every day, having follow-up in your schedule every day at the same time. Remember, if it's not in your schedule, it does not exist. Showing up to the office, showing up to your trainings, showing up to your coaching calls, showing up to whatever coaching you might have in your company without fail, tracking your numbers every single day so you know where you stand. That's consistency. We've got to stop focusing on the results and start focusing on the activities. We hear this all the time. Don't focus on the roads, focus on the process. The reason why we hear this all the time is because it's a truth. It's a truth. Now, Abe, before I forget, I want to mention something. Look, Abe and I have a coaching program called Agent Success Academy. Okay. Right now we're giving you some concepts, but we don't want to bore you. We don't want to keep you, make these podcasts too long. So if you're interested in more of the how, not the what, not the concept, but the how do I work expireds and get instant success? How do I work FSBOs and start generating momentum quickly? You may want to check out Agent Success Academy. We'll put a link in the description of this video and the link in the podcast if you want more information. So, Abe, why don't you tell us about skill? That's the third one.
So, absolutely. Yeah, consistency, Greg, is one of the most underrated things in anything in life, not just real estate.
Yes.
I mean, working out, gym, diet. Yeah, consistency is what makes things happen, right? So there's a reason that we did lead gen first as number one. There's a reason we did number two, consistency, and then followed by skill, right? We could have done them in a different order, but it wouldn't work. Skill has to be the third one. Because just like you said, Greg, activity, action, someone doing mass action is going to beat someone that's skilled or someone that's talented that is inconsistent. So the base has to be there. So you put in your schedule lead gen, you show up every single day, the consistency part, number two. Now, number three, skill. You build your skills. Okay. And what skill is going to do, skill is going to be the multiplier, right? So yeah, you can work hard and you're going to get results. Okay. But you're going to be limited to how much production you can do just for the fact that time is finite. There's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many people you can talk to, right? So the next thing that you have to do is, once you're doing it consistently, is you improve your skills. As your skills improve, you'll start to set more appointments with the same number of conversations. You'll start listing more properties with the same number of appointments. As your skills improve, you're going to convert more people that you've spoken to without having to talk to more. So think of it, when you combine skill and effort, that's you being on your way to being a top producer, right? That's going to be the magnifier, the multiplier. That's what really explodes your business at that point. Now, what skills do you need to master as an agent? First and foremost, scripts and dialogues. You have to know what to say. You have to have the confidence in knowing what to say when someone picks up the phone, you call them. Not just memorizing words, but understanding the conversation. Yes, there are certain questions that you should ask based on scripts, but you as an agent need to understand what the whole map looks like, what the process looks like, and where you're taking that conversation and that lead. So understanding scripts and dialogues and being able to have these conversations, I think, is crucial. Next is objection handling, right? Because we're all going to get objections no matter how good we are. You have to be able to anticipate and know what objections are coming and be able to practice those responses and be able to handle them as they come up. We've got a great course in real estate sales solutions, objection handling mastery. I think, and you and I, Greg, have listened to and done a lot of coaching. I think it's the best coaching course out there in the industry, period. Objection handling mastery.
I
Next
agree.
thing is, huh?
I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Next thing is presenting skills, right? The whole point of talking to people is to set appointments. So you got to be able to present once you get in front of them, whether it's a buyer consultation, whether it's a listing appointment, listing presentation, all of these things, you have to practice them over and over and over where it becomes automatic to you. Okay, we like in our listing presentation that we teach, Greg, I mean, you know, it's all methodical. The way we walk in the door, the way we park our car in the driveway, every single thing is thought through. Because that little optimization, 1% better here, 1% better there, equals amazing results at the end of the day. Okay, and the last skill you need is negotiation. Right? We're in the sales business. You're negotiating with sellers, with buyers, with other agents. It's a never-ending negotiation all the time. So you have to be able to negotiate with people. So those are the 4 skills that you add on after you started with lead gen, after you've become consistent. Now, how do we get to the next level? And that's improving your skills. So role play, study what top producers do, record yourself and critique, right? Get coaching and feedback. I'm amazed. Like, I can't even imagine trying to be a top producer in this business without coaching. Like, how could you possibly do it? Like, I can't go play golf without taking golf lessons. Someone actually watching me and see what I'm doing to help me improve. If you want to get better at something, you have someone from the outside looking in, helping you get it done. And like Greg said earlier, do not be afraid of reps. Repetitions is what makes us better. That's practice. Every single day, rep after rep, you're going to get better and your growth is going to be much faster.
So lead generation, consistency, and skills. And Abe, I think both of us would probably say that those 3 things, we applied lots of attention and focus on those 3 things ourselves. And it's exactly why we've developed what we've developed when it comes to levels of production, and still doing it years and years later. So look, success is not lucky. It's not about getting lucky. I mean, I guess, I will take some luck, but truly creating success has less to do about luck. It's not even about how long you've been in the business. It's, are you consistently lead generating at a high level of skills, with a high level of skill sets? Because if you want faster results, if you want it to be instant, those 3 things, as Abe said, are non-negotiable. They're mandatory. And the faster you make the decision to make a commitment to those 3 things, the faster you're going to succeed. I was saying on a coaching call earlier today, Abe, before this call here, before this recording or this talk, I said, you know what? A lot of people are going to say that they don't have the time. And what I would recommend is that you look at all the things that you do during the day and eliminate 50% of your motion. We got to stop confusing motion with being productive. You can be in motion and be busy, but not moving forward. But when you're in motion of skill building, lead generation, and that motion is consistent in those areas, that's going to be productive. So think about all the things that you're doing. Ask yourself, do I consistently do this? No. Consider eliminating it. And back all the way down to being consistent on a few things is going to get you there faster than dabbling in multiple things. So if you're serious about building a real estate career, not just having a real estate, business, a hobby, get consistent, generate every day, build your skills relentlessly. That's how you're going to win in the business. Any final thoughts, Abe?
Yeah, there's a question from Dominic, Greg. I'm going to post it up on the screen real quick if you want to handle that one.
Sure. Abe says, make one appointment a day. Give an example on who that lead would be. The most people are not motivated to move today, right? So you could, no matter what market you're in, you could just call expireds and old expireds. Because even if you say, there's not that many expireds, then I would say, well, there's probably 5 a day. And if you said there was 5 a day, then that means in 90 days, there would be, like 400, 450, somewhere in that range. So there's plenty of expireds or old expireds. If you call them with the right skill sets, there's no doubt you could set appointments every single day on that database. There's no doubt, because all we know is this. If you look at all those expires, you're going to see that probably 80% of them are coming back on the market. So if there were 100, 80 of them were coming back on the market. How many did you call consistently with a high level of skill? And if the answer is not many, that's where the motivated people are. No matter what they sound like on the phone, 80% of them are coming back on the market. So just like we confuse motion with being productive, we also got to make sure that we don't confuse smoke screens for conditions. And what I mean by that is when somebody is an expired and they say, we just decided not to sell, that's a smoke screen. That's not a condition. That's a smoke screen. But if we treat it like it's a truth and it's a condition, we get off the phone without pursuing an appointment with those people or pursuing further along the conversation, we're going to think in our minds, there was nothing there. But then that person pops back on the market within 2 weeks. So there was something there. It was just a smoke screen at the moment that you called. Hopefully you find that helpful. All right, Abe. Well, hey, look, if for those of you listening, Abe and I appreciate you tuning in, watching live. Also, if you would do us a favor, could you hit the like button or subscribe button on YouTube? We'd really like to make sure that as we do these on a weekly basis, you're getting that information. You're getting a little notification that we just dropped another coaching tip out there for real estate agents. So we'd love you to actually hit the subscribe button. Any other final comments, Abe?
No, I'm good, Greg. Thank you all for watching. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. You all take care. See you soon.